Hello, Assalamu alaikum, I'm Sadi, and thank you for joining us on another episode of the Fireside Chat here on Sinar Daily TV. And so today we're going to have a widely knowledgeable guest who is very well known for his expertise within the field of Islamic banking, finance, and jurisprudence, as well as essentially the Sharia contemporary issues. And so, without further ado, allow me to welcome Dr. Zaharuddin, Abdul Rahman. So, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you doing today, sir?
Good, fine, alhamdulillah.
Thank you for having us on today. Where do you see Malaysians in terms of their awareness to this Sharia compliant alternative, in comparison to the conventional insurance?
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for having me as well. So with regard to your questions, awareness among the Muslims with regard to the Sharia compliant product, i.e. takaful and Islamic banking product, I would not want to say it is an alternative, because for Muslim it is an obligation. It is a fardu ain for all Muslim to subscribe to halal and Sharia compliant products, be it food and beverages or financial services. So Muslim normally give a lot of attention and heavy attention to food and beverages. They would love to have logo halal from Jakim before they consume. And also if they are to go and to any restaurant, they want to ensure that the restaurant, the kitchen are well certified by halal body, such as Jakim or the state authoritative body. However, when it comes to financial services, rarely we see that a Muslim give similar weight of attention. So that is very unfortunate. For example, if I can give a factual statistic, KWSP or Employees Provident Fund, they have two types of fund, the Sharia compliant and non-Sharia compliant. So from the non-Sharia compliant fund, they have about 50% of the members are still with the non-Sharia compliant fund, and they are Muslims. So why don't they convert into the Sharia compliant fund? We don't know why. Maybe because of the awareness, maybe because of the dividend percentage. They would prefer higher percentage of dividend, even though it is not Sharia compliant. Because we always say to those members that if you manage to get 6%, for example, from the non-Sharia compliant or conventional EPF savings, you have to purify from the dividend of 6%, 69% of the 6% need to be purified. So let's say the 6% worth 10,000. So you have to purify 6,900 ringgit in order for you to get a purified income. So with that, there is no point for you to consistently being in the conventional fund. You need to convert because awareness between among Muslim to these Sharia compliant products, I can say growing across the years. However, it still can be better a lot. So that is what I can say about the awareness.
The participation among Muslims is very low at only 8%. And so how do we encourage the Muslims themselves, especially, to actively embrace this, industry or sector and, take part in it?
All right. I think Muslims are very much involved in that sector, but unfortunately as a consumer. So when we talk about the Islamic economy, Islam always encourage us, Muslim, to be a producer. That is actually what we lack. We lack in terms of knowledge and skill. Yes, I think we have to start give a proper knowledge and skill to the youngsters, of Muslim youngsters, from schools, from early universities, so that they understand how to become an entrepreneur. But from what I observe, yes, of course, there are many government agencies that support entrepreneurs. However, those agencies are coming a bit late. So there is nobody try to encourage and tell those youngsters on how to become an entrepreneur. Because being a businessman and entrepreneurs, you need to have a long list of skill set, hard skill and soft skill, where some of these skills not being learned in the university or even in the school. So if you became an entrepreneur, after you graduated from any college or university, you will find yourself lost in the jungle of business. You wouldn't know how to manage your staff, you don't know what is the labor law, you wouldn't know what is the accounting and how to manage cash flow and whatnot. So that has become the greatest obstacles for Muslim community from what I observe. Different from those Chinese community, for example. If you happen to have any experience, commingle with some of those students coming out from those Chinese school, they are being encouraged and they are being tested and they are being given a lot of what we call emphasis on mathematics, economics, and how to do business and how do we want to survive in this land and these countries, so that they are being built from a very young age. So for Muslim communities, from what I observe, not from only external observation, but from my own children, in the Muslim schools and the government school, and also from the religious school, for example, they are not being taught about all of these things. So if they want to be an entrepreneur, they have to learn by themselves. So that's why Muslims are very complacent to become a consumer in the global Islamic economy, business and sectors. And those non-Muslim are now using whatever skills that they have to become a producer. So they are now getting a lot of benefits. They are now, for example, producer of 70 or 60 to 70% of the halal food and beverages in Malaysia. That is the statistic given by Jakim. Previously 70 to 80% the halal logo holder are coming from the non-Muslim community. What about Muslim? They are consumers. They are just criticizing this and that, but they are not doing anything except just very actively play a role in the media, social media. All right? So that's very unfortunate. So that's why when you ask me about how we want to encourage Muslim community to involve more, need to do some amendment or maybe addition to the school syllabus in terms of selective subject, for example, and also in the university, because university are actually a factory to produce student and people to become, to be employed, not to become employer.
And of course, with the economic rejuvenation around the whole globe, so how much has the landscape evolved or, being impacted for entrepreneurs, especially perhaps, maybe for startups in the midst of all this pandemic and everything that's been going on, basically?
If you ask me about the startup, I don't think many of the startup yet to go abroad. For that reason, they may not be so much impacted by the falling of the Malaysian currency exchange against dollar, because there is no import export at the moment. I think there is nothing so much, because normally the startup in Malaysia, they are more focused on technology, and technology is easily can be transported across the globe without any what we call affected by the currency exchange. However, for those SMEs, yes, for those SMEs, those who importing some of their goods and materials, raw materials and whatnot from abroad, they will be suffered a lot, because previously they may have 100,000 to purchase those things, those goods, but now 100,000 is no longer sufficient. They need to have more than that. So from where they want to get the money? If they are to get it from the financial institutions, because of the OPR on loan rates are also increasing, so that will be very expensive as well. However, for those entrepreneurs and SMEs exported their goods and services to abroad, those guys will benefit a lot, because they will be paid in dollars. So they will of course appreciate what happened at the current moment. But of course, each and everything of these are I can say temporary, because dollars, yes, of course, increasing in value, but it is not only affected Malaysia, it is across the nations. In Europe, Euro, Britain, pound sterlings against dollars, all of them are now very bad. It's about dollars stand out from the crowd due to the many factors. And now what happened is that the problem is that when the increase of dollars also increase in inflation, and also increase in the government or Fed Reserve, for example, they increase the interest rate, in order to manage the inflation. So for that reason, all nations may also affected. So Britain will increase as well. They will follow suit. Malaysia also will follow suit. So if that happen, the commoners, where we surely have loan or financing with banks for our house, we need to pay more every month, But car, no, because car normally using fixed rate. But house, they are using reducing balance, outstanding balance, where there will be some increase in the rate due to the fact that Bank Negara, Central Bank of Malaysia, increased their OPR, overnight policy rate. So for that reason, we need to have more disposable income. We will have to utilize our part of our disposable income to pay to the bank. So that's will be quite concerning for some Malaysians.
Right. Overnight policy rate.
Yeah.
How we are tied to the government. And so we'd like to throw a general question, which is something that we believe a lot of people, especially Muslims, are concerned about, which is on the differences between the interest rate in the conventional finance and the profit rate in Islamic finance. So does it count as also interest or usury, aka riba?
Of course not. Yeah, because when we say that these food are certified halal by JAKIM, are you being asked to do in-depth investigation on how on earth this factory can get halal certification? You are not being asked. This chocolate, these snacks, they have halal JAKIM. Do you want to know how they manage to get that halal certification? It's not your job. So the same apply to financial services. Financial services, we have a dedicated act, Islamic Financial Services Act 2013, govern those institutions. And also we have Central Bank of Malaysia policy documents, and also we have Central Bank of Malaysia Sharia Advisory Council, national level. And also in the Financial Services Act mentioned that all institutions or banks, when they are given the Islamic banks license, they need to have at least 5 Sharia advisors, independent, and also they need to have at least 5 Sharia qualified person as a full-time staff, you know. So all of this stuff are even better than the halal food producer. You know, halal food producer, they don't have to have a halal or Sharia division. It's up to them. If they want to have, it's good. If they don't have, it's still good. So Jakim and halal authority in the state, halal authority will give some certification once a while. But for financial institution, we need to have a daily and full-time staff to manage all of this contract, all of these conditions and rules, you know, in order to ensure all of that are Sharia compliant. So all I can say for general public, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. You need to ask and refer to those who has authority if you don't have authority and access. You know, so when we don't have access, we have to rely on those authoritative bodies, no matter what. Meaning that if they are cheated, if they are cheating, you are being cheated, you will not be accountable in the hereafter. Those people will be accountable. The same apply to halal certification. If we eat something and it is not halal, but at the level of the companies and the product, it has halal certification, we will not be punished in the hereafter, because we are following what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Qur'an. We already depending on those authoritative bodies. So that is number one that we have to understand. Number two, of course, different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ رِبَا. Allah made permissible tradings and made prohibited usury and interest. Usury is coming from loan giving and repayment with interest along what we call during a period of time, during a tenure, a certain tenure. Because of the delay, you need to pay more. So that has been made as a business in the past, you know, and that action is already being prohibited by Allah in the past, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, until now. So in order for us to make profit, so Allah asks us to do trading. So that is actually what Islamic finance do. They are doing trading of a commodity or any commodity with the client. So instead of giving out loan, they are trading the commodity. So when you do trading, the contractual price, selling price must be known in upfront. So that's why sometimes people are getting confused, because they see in the contract that for Islamic finance, you can see the contractual selling price are very high as compared to conventional, because conventional, they are not selling anything. They are just giving loan and you have to repay with interest. For that reason, you don't know what is the ceiling price, because there is no ceiling for conventional. For conventional, you need to pay 1000%. If you late in payment, you wouldn't know. But for Islamic, you need to pay until this. This is the ceiling. And then for monthly payment, Islamic finance will give you rebate, discounts. For example, I give you 10,000, I sell to you this commodity with 10,000 ringgit, you pay in 1 year. So, or maybe 12,000 ringgit in 1 year. So each month you need to pay 1,000, right? But I give you discount. Instead of 1,000, you need to pay only 600 ringgit. So that is how they do it, you know, in layman terms. So Islamic finance are giving discount to their clients every month, even though they have the right to accept 1,000, the whole amount. But how they determine the discount? By using OPR, or overnight policy rate by the government. If the government increase the interest rate, what happens is that Islamic finance discount will be lesser. So if the interest rate lower, the Islamic finance discount will be higher. So that's it. So, but the original price that you need to pay to the bank is actually higher than that. That is 1,000, for example, in our example just now. You know, but instead of paying 1,000, you only have to pay 600. But because of the APR, you have to pay 650. That's it. That amount is created through the indebtedness of trading. That's it. So I don't know whether or not the general public can understand that, but I try at my best to explain for the layman terms, for the layman and commoners, so that they can understand. But if they cannot understand, just rely on those who can understand, and you will be safe in the hereafter. That's it.
فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون.
Yep.
And وحل الله البيع وحرم الربا.
Yeah.
Got it. So, doctor, could you give us an elevator pitch? Just tell us what the Straight Path Convention is all about.
Okay, thank you very much for asking. The Straight Path Convention will be held on 26 and 27 of November in Menara Berkembar Bank Rakyat. And the Straight Path Convention is also an annual weekend convention focused on bringing, enriching international standard lectures on the religions of Islam according to the authentic sources of the Qur'an and the Sunnah. And there will be 2 days of full lectures by various speakers, international and local speakers. And I think the topic for this year would be Wahan. Wahan means the belittling the hereafter and giving so much attention to this worldly dunya and belittling the hereafter, and also at the same time worrying and very afraid of death, and at the same time not preparing oneself to this moment of truth. Death is moment of truth. Nobody can escape, but at the same time you can see that less people are preparing for that moment, and they are just going out for work to prepare for their dunya. So that is what we call belittling akhirah. That would be the topic for this Straight Path Convention this year.
Anyway, so we were informed that, as with the various what speakers, local and international, will be present at the event. And so, there will also be numerous topics to be covered. And so, what about you? What will you bring to the, convention?
Okay, my topic would be about the reasons of why is the decline in the Muslim community and in Muslims, in general. What would be the factors, internally and external factors, and also internal factors? Sometimes most of people, sometimes they are trying to say and to put a blame on the others. We will say this is because of the enemy of Islam doing this, their tricks, and this is because of the evils, and this is because of those people, and sometimes we are forgetting about ourselves. So surely I will try at my best to also include the internal factors on why Muslim, and not only Muslim at a personal level, but Muslim as a state. So we can see caliphats, from the Prophet ﷺ time to the Uthmani period. So we can say along this almost 1,000 years. So what are those times that Muslim state and also community at their peak? Let alone we keep separate the time of the Prophet, of course, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and also the 4 caliphats after the Prophets sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But after the Khulafa ar-Rashidin, so what happened to the Muslim community and caliphates. You know, do they actually a role model for the all countries at the current moment, or maybe they are also flooded with a lot of problems, internal problems, external problems created by themselves, and we want to learn from that history. But I will not exaggerate on discussing about history at my slot. I will also focus on what are those what we call guidance underlined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran and also the Prophet in the Hadith. That would be better, because history can change. History can be repeated and at the same time can be changed. It depends on the humans. Not necessarily you do the same thing as per the previous people, you will get the same result. The result may be different. So for that reason, we have to rely on what in the Quran and also in the Hadith. What are those recipes of success for Muslim community and Muslim state and nation? So that actually my focus in the program, inshallah.
And so, as we have mentioned a couple of times already, with the theme for the convention this year, Al-Wahan, Desiring Dunya, Belittling Hereafter. Would you like to add anything else to, what visitors could expect, or who is this convention for, especially?
Okay, I think it's good for all Muslim who loves to what we call to challenge their mind, to attend this program, and those who love lectures in English languages. So all of the slots will be in English, and those who want to interact with local and international scholars, they will have the opportunities over there, because not only they will be only listening, but also they can interact with those speakers after the slot, and there will be many booths from various institution or organization at the program as well, so you can get a lot of additional information on many services, halal services and whatnot, at the program. Not only just listening to lectures, but also maybe for business purposes, networking purposes, da'wah purposes, and many other purposes. So it will be very beneficial for all Muslim, not only in the Klang Valley, but also all across Malaysia and internationally. And also international student, Malaysian student, you are encouraged to attend this program to enrich your knowledge and skills, and to also challenge your mind and concept and ideas. And you can also throw some of your ideas to the speakers at the session and ask questions. I do think that this is great after we have been locked down for many years and not being able to have this type of program, physical program. So you must take and grab the opportunity.
Thank you, Doctor, for sparing your time and sharing your insight, on the matter and topics and subjects we've, discussed about. And so, on behalf of Sinar Daily, we deeply appreciate, us having this profoundly concise discussion. And so, for all of you watching, don't forget to follow us across all of our social pages. We got from sunardaily.my, our main official page, to our Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Don't forget. So head over there, subscribe to us, watch our videos, enjoy it, like it, share it, spread it around, spread the word, the goodness, everything. So that's it for today's episode. Till then, have a good one. Signing off. The Straight Path Convention for 2022 is here to bring you
enriching international standard lectures on religion in line with the Qur'an and Sunnah. The annual ilm-quenching Islamic convention is set to take place at the Bang Raya Twin Towers in KL on November 26 and 27. And as the official media partner for the event, Sinar Daily is giving our readers a chance to attend the convention courtesy of our ticket giveaway. A total of 20 tickets are up for grabs, so just head over to our Instagram page and follow the simple steps to win your tickets today.